Hello, everyone. You're listening to The Right Side of Gaming. Today, we're going to be talking about the currency exchange, market, and Battle Pass in Magic Legends. They covered all this in a recent article, but I want to expand on it a little bit, as well as compare things to one of their other games, Neverwinter. To start with, the currency exchange allows you to convert an in-game currency, refined Aether, into Zen, the paid currency. There will be a market that's going to be driven by the players, much like in Neverwinter. Now, between the name Refined Aether, the fact that we have a daily refinement cap, and the fact that Neverwinter has rough astral diamonds that you refine into astral diamonds, most likely we're going to have some type of unrefined Aether that we collect in the game. And then we're going to have to refine that into refined Aether to trade for Zen. So let's break down the limits on Magic Legends first, and then kind of compare that a little bit with Neverwinter. In Magic Legends, there's going to be a daily refinement cap of 50,000 refined Aether. That means regardless of how much you collect, you can only create 50,000 refined Aether a day. And there's a max storage capacity of 2 million refined Aether. Okay, so you can make 50,000 a day, and you can hold up to 2 million. That's about 40 days worth of refined Aether. We'll compare that to Neverwinter. In Neverwinter, you collect rough astral diamonds. I think there's ways to get actual astral diamonds too, but most of what you're getting are going to be the rough astral diamonds, most likely. And you can refine those into astral diamonds, and you can refine up to 100,000 a day. I don't know if there's a cap on the total amount you can have, but at the very least, you're limited to how much you can make a day. Give you an idea of the exchange rate, when I was playing pretty seriously about 4 years ago, it was about 500 astral diamonds for 1 Zen. Naturally, the price would fluctuate a little bit. People would try to undercut each other. You might be able to get it usually, $4.99. It offers $4.98, $4.97. I picked up a fair amount at $4.93, I think, last time I played. I mean, it was close to, but not exactly 500. Now, 4 years later, I took a look at the market, and it's about 750 astral diamond for 1 Zen. So it did go up. Costs about half as much again. In theory, you should be able to make more, hopefully. I don't know. Or at the very least, people that have been playing long enough have more astral diamond. They don't necessarily have to spend it on other things as much so that they can collect, and I guess that drives up the price. And again, it's not going to be exactly 750. You'll have offers. I think I have a screenshot here you can see. There were 750, 749, 748, and so on. So at the 750 exchange rate, or thereabouts, you're going to be making a little over 130 Zen a day if you get that full 100,000 astral diamond. I want you to compare that to the exchange rate for Zen if you were to buy that with real world currency. Currently, you can get 500 for $5, 1,000 for $10, 2,000 for $20, 5,000 for $50, and 10,000 for $100. There's little extras that go with them, consumables, some unlocks, some inventory expansion, things like that. But for the most part, they're pretty consistent that you can get 100 Zen for $1, or that each Zen is about 1 penny. That means if we look at some of the market prices, it's going to translate pretty well into actual money. As far as what's on the Neverwinter paid currency market. So we see that you have a 600 Zen item, that's going to be about $6. A 4,000 Zen cosmetic is going to be about $40. They have these packs in here that you can buy, which aren't necessarily like randomized booster packs. They're sort of like bundles. I looked at one, a $60 bundle, essentially. Or I might have picked at one of the $100 ones. But it gave you a cosmetic like these wings. It gave you a companion and some in-game currency. But some of them are admittedly a little expensive. So let's take a look at how long it would take you to grind some of those things. If we're making 130 Zen a day, like we've talked about, it means that those 10,000 Zen packs would take about 75 days to grind out. So when we're looking at a max storage cap in Magic Legends of about 40 days worth of Aether, I mean, that's pretty considerable. There's a good chance that some items might cost you 40 days worth of refined Aether. In theory, it could cost more than that. Because again, that's the cap on refined Aether and not necessarily a cap on Zen. So you may have to hit the cap twice to be able to afford something. It's possible that, you might have to grind for 75 days worth of Aether to be able to buy something in Magic Legends, the same as you might in Neverwinter. I took a look at how much Astral Diamond I had left over from when I stopped playing. If I bought everything right now off the bat, I have a little over 100,000 Astral Diamond. I would get about 150 Zen. That's a little over a day's worth. I have one level 70 character and a couple others that are decently up there, but not quite that high. A lot of it is going to be, if they follow a similar structure, a lot of it's going to be having to get your characters maxed out so that you can do certain things over and over again to get as much Astral Diamond, or in this case, as much refined Aether as you can. I can't say for sure personally how easily other people can make that, daily cap of rough Astral Diamond. I know I would have to grind a pretty fair amount if I wanted to hit it. I have to assume that in Magic Legends, if you want to hit that daily cap, there's a good chance you'll have to grind a bit. I think some other people might disagree with me. Who knows? We'll just have to see how easily we can hit that cap once the game starts. But it's going to be really important to pay attention to that cap, because that's going to determine how much refined Aether we have out in the market for Zen, and that's going to affect Zen prices. Moving away from the currency exchange, let's talk about the broker. Broker is only going to be in-game currency. The broker allows you to trade between planeswalkers. You can sell items to the broker for gold. Remember, that's gold. That's not refined Aether or anything like that. You are not getting anything you can trade for real-world currency here. You are selling items for in-game currency. And you can buy items from the broker for gold. Again, the in-game currency. Naturally, it's like any other game. You earn gold, from enemy drops, skirmish rewards, mission rewards, battle pass levels, all the normal stuff. Like if you fight something in game, there's a good chance you're going to get gold. If you do an activity in game, there's a good chance you're going to get some gold. There's no mention of any cap on gold, so we'll have to see how that goes. But whatever you get, you're going to be able to, buy and sell using it. Now, the items you can buy from the broker include spell pages, world enchantments, packs, and unlocks. Start with the spells. You can't buy single spells from the broker. Okay? You can't say, oh, there's this new spell I want, let me go buy it. No. You can only buy spell pages from spells that you've already unlocked. So it's got to be something that you already own, then you can buy more of it. You also have to buy and sell the pages in stacks of 12, and the buy-sell price is going to be for the stack, not individual pages. So if something costs, let's say 50 gold on the broker, I don't know what the prices are going to be. Let's say it costs 50 gold. It's like, okay, I can get 12 pages for 50, I can get 24 pages for 100, and so on. And you can sell them 12 pages for 50, 100 pages. No, you get the idea. So chances are you're going to have to save spell pages, even if you don't want them, to have enough to sell to the broker. As for the world enchantments, I think they've already gone over that before. I think I've already gone over it in the previous video. That's going to be your one-time use items that you can use to, give yourself a little extra difficulty and a little extra rewards. I think they've established that you can craft some of them. There's different ways to get some of them. The broker, you can buy them from the broker, especially ones that, I guess other players have sold. I mean, we can see some examples with the broker Again, I don't know if this is necessarily going to be what we're getting on release, but it looks like we have spells ranging from around a little over 250 gold to a little over 500 gold, and that's for a single stack. And you can look at it and like, okay, well, I guess, this spell that, is a little more expensive is probably one that people are trying to buy a lot. Some of these cheaper ones, maybe they're not as big. I look at it and it's like, okay, well, some of the cheaper ones are things that, might be starter deck cards compared to Night Veil Stalker, which is one of our multicolored cards. I have to imagine that those might be a little bit more powerful or more, expensive, especially since I think they said they would probably be a little bit stronger than the monocolor cards in one of their streams. And then for the world enchantments, you can see that those are a lot more expensive. So it's one of those things where, if you're still trying to grind spell pages, it's a pretty noticeable jump in price because these are all over 13,000. So it's going to be a pretty fair amount of gold just to get one of those for extra rewards. You'll also notice that those are 13,000 for tier 1. And remember, we have 3 tiers of world enchantment, so they will likely get more expensive than that. Again, assuming that these are representative of, the final beta release, whatever, numbers. You'll also be able to buy unlocks, such as unopened booster packs, class unlocks, and choice packs. Choice packs will contain traits, artifacts, and spells. I think that's I think they talked about this a little bit once before. I think it's okay. I buy a pack for traits. I think there would be a couple, and you choose one of them or something like that. I'm gonna have to go back and see if they have more details on that. I want to say that's how it worked, but I could be wrong. I think it's one from one of their streams, maybe. We'll have to see if I can dig that up. At any rate, you can't, open one of the packs, make your selection, and then sell whatever you get on the broker. Okay, so if you buy a pack and it doesn't have what you want in it, well, you're stuck with the stuff that you didn't want. You have to either sell it unopened and be like, man, I guess I'll never know what's in there, or you have to just open it and take a hit. Just like if you were to buy like a booster pack at a store, they won't let you open it up to see if you like the cards inside before you pay for it. I think it's like the same concept here. I do like that they will let you sell the class unlocks on the broker, which means that, yeah, someone might be able to buy it with, Zen or real world currency, but then they can sell it to the broker, and that means you'll be able to pick it up with gold and in-game currency. Now, I assume that means class unlocks as in actual classes. It's possible there's something else in there that's supposed to unlock, but I think they made pretty clear that a lot of it was stuff that unlocks as you level up. So I'm pretty sure they're talking about like actual unlocking a new class to play. Now there's 2 caveats to using the broker that we need to talk about. The first is there's a limit on how many times a day you can use the broker. Each transaction requires a trade token. You get 10 trade tokens per day, and you can hold a maximum of 30 trade tokens at a time. So that's 3 days worth of trade tokens. If you haven't used the broker in 3 days, you're just, tossing aside trade tokens. That doesn't mean you have to use it or that you have to spend them. Just know that you will have a limited number of transactions you can do. You can, however, upgrade your etheric core in your realm to allow you to buy and sell more spell stacks at once. Okay, so for example, let's say, and again, this is just an example. They may do this slightly different in game. I'm just using example numbers. Let's say when you start out, you can buy 1 stack of spell pages for 1 token. Okay, then you upgrade it, and then you can buy 2 spell stacks for 1 token. So you go from being able to buy 120 spell pages a day to 240 spell pages a day because you're allowed to get 2 stacks for each token, and so on. And I think that's what they're getting at there. The second little caveat I think is the most important one, especially for anyone that's ever played an MMO, anything with a player-driven market. A lot of times people will try to buy and sell and manipulate the market to make prices go either way up or way down. I'm sure there's a GameStop reference in there somewhere, but I'm going to be nice and not touch that. But the devs have said that there's going to be a floor and a ceiling on prices. The prices will fluctuate a little bit based on what players are buying from and selling to the broker, but it's only going to go up and down so much. You're not going to be able to, completely manipulate the market and screw over all the other players. That also suggests to me that the broker is always going to be able to at least buy the stuff that you don't want. Like, there's not necessarily going to be a cap. Like, oh, hey, there's all this stuff that literally no one wants. Well, they're going to buy it from you, but it's going to be at a very low price, I would assume. But there's going to be that floor. So it's not like, everything you pick up will eventually be totally useless. If you don't want it, you can probably at least still get some gold for it. Finally, there's the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass is going to have 50 levels, which I appreciate. I'm used to playing, Apex Legends with one of my friends, and that's like 110. I just look at that and like, no, I'm getting tired like halfway through that. But Magic Legends is going to do a 50 level Battle Pass. And it's going to have both a free and a premium track. I think this is stuff that we've gone over before, but since we're discussing a little bit more in depth, I guess it bears repeating. So on the free track, you'll get, your character cosmetics, your summon cosmetics, in-game currencies, spell pages, relic fragments. They've also stated that you're going to get a new trait in this one, which is great, because that sounds like we're going to have traits that aren't necessarily tied to classes that we have to level up and max out. There's going to be some that we can get outside of classes. I think that's going to help a little bit with customization. They've also stated that the premium track is going to cost 1,000 Zen, and if we assume that, this is going to be a similar exchange rate as, say, Neverwinter, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, okay, maybe $10. That's actually pretty good. And if you buy the premium track, you get all the free rewards, as normal, along with additional cosmetics, currencies, and there's also a premium track spell and artifact, so that there will be a spell and artifact that you can only get by paying for the premium track, at least for now. I think they're most likely going to be timed exclusives. That's how they're doing the Planeswalker Bundle artifact, the Gilded Lotus. I think they've talked about how that's how they want to do other things in the game. So there's a very good chance that it's, yes, you can pay to get it earlier now, or you can wait and it'll be available some way for free later on. And just like other battle passes, if you start off free to play and then you decide to you want to buy the battle pass like halfway through, you also gain all the premium rewards you would have earned up until that time. You're going to get battle pass levels, not just necessarily for anything you do, whatever you do, each day, like in some games where it's like, oh, as long as I'm getting XP, I'm also getting battle pass XP. They're saying that you're going to get battle pass levels by completing daily and weekly challenges for battle pass XP. So it's probably going to be a limit to how fast you can get everything in it as well, and it will require daily logins or close to it. The examples they give are earning Aether from various sources or completing a number of overworld skirmishes and ordeals. In fact, if we take a look at sort of their example, I don't know if this is exactly what we're going to be getting on release or in open beta or whatever, but it's a good example, and I like it. They give an example of a daily complete 3 overworld skirmishes. That's fairly easy. I think we're going to be able to do that, and it's not going to be too particularly time consuming. I think overworld skirmishes were, depending on the difficulty, at most a couple minutes. There is a weekly of complete 5 ordeals. They may be a little bit longer, but I think you can get those in less than half an hour each for sure. And so I don't think these are going to necessarily be, or at least all of them won't necessarily be super difficult dailies or weeklies. It sounds like, assuming these are in line with what we're getting on, release on beta, it sounds like they're just wanting to use it as a way to encourage people to do content. And again, this may not be what we get on release, but there is some nice little things in here. You'll notice that in the picture, we're looking at the level 25 reward. In the premium track, you'll get the Raw Zarek vestments, and I'm pretty sure that's the same outfit and same character model as when they showed that Raw Zarek was going to be one of the NPCs in the game. So if you're not familiar with it, I think we've covered this, or I've covered this in a previous video where I was talking about the NPCs that they've confirmed are going to be in there. Raw Zarek is an Izzet guild mage. You know, one of the mages from Ravnica. He does a lot of storm magic type stuff. But we'll get his outfit. And it looks like there's some green aligned character outfits at level 20 and 27 on there. So it's possible this may be a good way for us to get some of the NPC outfits that may not necessarily be available otherwise. It also looks like you can see some of the summon cosmetics in there, because there's a few things that look like they're obviously creature summons, as well as what I'm guessing are spell pages and relic fragments. So a lot of it looks like about what we expected, about what they told us it was going to be, so I'm not too shocked by anything in here. I think that's all I had for today. As always, thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to leave a comment, like, subscribe, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. If not, that's okay too. I understand. Either way, I hope you have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time.